Welcome back to Dad Kenny Gaming, where today we are going to talk about Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We've got a thoughts video for you guys, and we're going to just have some video footage rolling in the background for you. So, hopefully, you guys enjoy the video. If you do, throw a sub on the channel, throw a like on the video, and comment down below. But let's get into it. So, does this build on the first game? Let's kind of touch on that first. Does it build on the exploration? Does it build on the combat? Does it build on the gameplay? And I guess the short answer is kind of, which isn't necessarily, I guess, a bad thing. I guess you kind of do want some of that progression of those things when you have new games in a series, but really, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And I really do think the first game had a pretty good formula attached to it, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. Things that kind of built on the first game or stayed the same. Well, obviously, the traversal was moderately the same. You had the same kind of jumping and climbing and kind of moving around the map, which was fun. I enjoyed it from the first game for sure. But they did kind of build on that because they added just a few different ways to get around the map. I think one of the key ones that was really fun and really cool was the kind of dashing in midair. I don't believe that was in the first game. If it was, I don't really remember it too much. But yeah, this one, it was a really cool mechanic. That was a fun way to traverse through and find new areas within the levels and the maps. So I really liked that. And then there were some just different and unique ways to, just break through, I guess, different areas. So like backtrack, you unlocked a new way to open up a map or a door and go back and do that. So one of the ways was the little BD1 had some different unique ways to do that. I guess I don't want to spoil anything on what they do, but he had like 2 or 3 different mechanics of opening up different paths. And some of those paths you come across super early on in the game. You're like, what is this? How do I get around this? And some of those you get super late in the game. So it's just kind of funny how that worked out. But overall, traversing, I really liked. I really enjoyed how they did that. One of the things, I guess, combat. I do think the combat was relatively the same-ish. Definitely a bit clunky. Not quite. So this is kind of like a Souls-like game where you have like a campfire, i.e. the little little meditation zones, and then enemies respawn back after you've killed them, and you continue on. And then you have parry, you have block, you have a dodge. I found, I guess, this dodge a bit clunky compared to the likes of an Elden Ring or something like that. It just seemed like, I don't know, maybe there's just latency on it with the PlayStation. I don't know, but I just kept finding myself pushing the button and then just getting obliterated. And I was like, I pushed the button, I should have dodged. So, and maybe that was just me kind of not being used to that type of movement. And maybe it was my handicap instead of the games. But again, I felt like Elden Ring's was way more fluid, way more crisp, and this one was a little bit clunky. So that was the only kind of negative, I guess, that I've discovered with this one. Everything else, though, seemed very cool and very fluid. It was very fun, the combat. Definitely some of the bosses were very fun, as you kind of would see and gather through the playthrough. So, yeah, combat was a lot of fun. Story-wise, I did like the first one better, and maybe that was just because it was the first playthrough of the whole series, and some of the surprises at the end and throughout were just really fun. So, there was a little bit of that throughout this one, but it was kind of then like, oh, well, that kind of happened in the first one. So now we're kind of copying, if you will. But regardless, they still were really fun. I enjoyed it. I did think it was fun to have a little bit more companionship, people part of the crew, interaction with that. I think there was a little bit more of them joining you on missions. So that was fun and enjoyable. But yeah, overall, I really like the mission. I mean, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of hard to mess up a Star Wars storyline. This is one of my favorite franchises, if not my favorite. And so it is kind of hard for me to experience a storyline that is just not great. So, yeah, that's that. I did think there was a bit of a miss within kind of the RPG elements, if you will, or like the progression elements. I was thinking that they would implement this in this game, and I wanted it in the first game, and they didn't have it, and I thought they could implement it into this one. But the lightsaber changes that you do to, customize your lightsaber, purely cosmetic. I mean, even from the first game, I thought it was a bit of a miss to just keep it cosmetic. I think, and I hope this would be so nice if they did this in the third game, but if they were to have stats or attributes to each of the sets or each of the components that you find for the lightsabers. So not only do they do a cosmetic effect, but they also have a modifier. So maybe more damage, a quicker parry or a stronger parry. Maybe it is just faster. Maybe like attack speed is up. And so like as you find these components that are all themed, obviously, they have each of these components have, 4 different things, and all of them you can find like the Jedi one, or you can find the Hunter one, or whatever they might call it. They have a full set, right? So if you find the full set and you happen and want to equip that full set because it looks cool, because you like the modifier that it gives you, if you complete the full set, then it gives you like a bonus percentage of that set. So if you have, say a damage modifier, when you have the full set complete, then it might give you, maybe it's the same thing. Like it gives you just like a 10-20% extra damage, or if you have the full set, now you might have 5-10% attack speed bonus. I don't know. I thought that was a really cool idea, and they didn't implement it, and I felt like that was a bit of a miss. I know it's kind of dipping your toe into a different genre of game, I guess, and this isn't that, but still, I think they could implement it, and I think it would be really fun because it just would take the lightsaber customization component, just to a deeper level than the first one and then now this one. So if they were to do that for the third one, I would be a fan. Super cool. I would really enjoy that. One of the other aspects of this game is the enemy types, I guess, and bosses. They definitely had some fun. I mean, obviously, the stormtroopers, the kind of indigenous animal life. I felt like that was a little bit more this game than the first one. But overall, I really enjoyed them. I thought they were really fun. Some of the bosses that they introduced, and some of the bosses were even just ones you come across in the like world, were really intense, really fun, really engaging. Again, I kind of did a little bit of dropping down difficulty just to kind of get through them. I know I'm bad comment about that, but part of me was just, I want to get through this story. I want to get through kind of what this game has to offer, and I don't want to spend 2 hours fighting a Rancor. It just, for me, it just wasn't the same effect as trying to grind a Elden Ring boss or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. The different ones that you could come across, and I liked it. It was really good, really good. So overall, I really enjoyed this game. I do think the first game was a little bit better, and that could have been just because it was new, it was fresh, something we haven't experienced before in a video game, form with Star Wars, and this one kind of just built on that. So what there wasn't this vast freshness and newness to the storyline and everything like that, but in terms of continuing the story and creating this trilogy within the Star Wars universe and within how they built this game, I thought it was a very solid addition to the game. I did like it. Again, I was playing on the PlayStation 5, so performance was kind of just whatever that console can do, and I thought it was pretty good. I mean, there was a couple hiccups here and there with frame issues and stuff like that, but again, it wasn't game ending for me. It wasn't anything that was overly negative. So again, performance issues didn't really affect me too much, which I liked. So overall, this was a solid entry to the trilogy, and I am excited for the next one, for what they do. I hope, obviously, they've got a good story team and they have a good finisher to this, kind of continue growing and putting, tying in, honestly, this game series to the whole Star Wars canon. I don't know. I think that'll be really cool. I do hope that they kind of add more traversing options, more things like that. I do hope they add in that Star Wars thing, or the lightsaber thing, not Star Wars thing. The lightsaber mechanics, I think that would be super cool, super fun way to play the game. Maybe even you play different characters. I'm not opposed to that in story-based games. Could be fun to play, I don't know, a different Jedi for a spell. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play the story. It all depends on how the story unfolds in the next game. But, well, that was a bit of... So, anyways, that was, so that's my thoughts on the game. And like we said at the beginning, if you have been kind of liking the content from Dad Kenny Gaming, just throw a like on the videos. It helps. Throw a comment. I like interacting with you guys and gals. And yeah, hit that sub button and then that bell to get notified of future videos. So hopefully you guys continue to enjoy these playthroughs, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.